Hello guys, and welcome to what is probably one of my favourite videos to film. It's going to be my summer camp experience from this past summer. So summer camp 2023 was an absolute, honestly an amazing summer. I can't even explain how unreal of a summer I had, but also how fast it went. But also it doesn't feel like it ever happened. Like when I think back to the things I've done this year, camp feels like such a distant memory, and it's so hard. I just don't know why it always feels like that. It's so strange. The summer flies by, and it really did. Like this summer was the fastest summer I've ever experienced. I'm going to go into some details as to what I got up to this summer, how my new job role was, just like the vibe in general, and just give you a little rundown of how my summer at camp was. Now this is a long time coming. It has been, what date are we on now? It's been like a month and a week since camp finished, which again seems like it was a lifetime ago. It seems like it's been a year since I've been there. I wanted to film this video as soon as I got back from camp, but I've had such a drama with my camera. But I'm back filming on a new camera now, so I was like, I want to get this up and ready as soon as possible, because I know so many people are starting to think about summer camp 2024, which is crazy to think it's going to come around so fast, but I'm so excited. You guys have no idea. So yeah, I'm not going to do a long ramble. I'm going to get straight into it. I've got my phone here. I'm going to look through some of the photos from the summer just so it can like jog my memory on different things, and I'm going to add loads of photos in alongside as I'm talking about everything, so you can kind of have a little glimpse into a summer at camp. But yeah, thank you for watching guys, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so I started my journey to camp on the 10th of June. Me and Summer went to Manchester Airport, and we flew on the same flight together, and it was so nice travelling with someone, especially Summer, because she's an absolute angel. Yeah, we had such a good travel journey. Everything was fine. My suitcase did get very damaged on the way to camp though, by the airline actually, so it was a little bit of a faff, but we made it, and we were staying in New York for 2 nights in an Airbnb with some of our friends. And then the second night we went out, and we'd kind of organised for a few people to meet up and go for like a night out in one of the bars. And when I tell you the amount of people that turned up, it was unbelievable. We didn't expect there was going to be anywhere near this many people turn up for this night out. I'll insert a photo from when we were all there. We had a big group photo, and it was just so much fun. It was actually Sally's birthday as well, and it was just an absolute vibe. And then I can't remember if it was the next day or the day after that, I was in New York for a shorter time than everyone else. I decided to go to camp a day early. So I got on the bus from Newark Airport with kind of like head staff and support staff were going on a different day. So I got on the bus, I went to camp, and it felt like I was home, as it always does. Yeah, I arrived late on the 12th of June, and then I think people started arriving on the 15th, and I think orientation started on the 16th. So I had a good few days before everyone actually fully arrived, just to kind of, I like getting myself settled. And obviously I wasn't in the bunk this year, so I had my own room set up. I'll insert a picture of what my room looked like, and yeah, it was nice to get into that settled mindset straight away, even though I really did miss being in the bunks this year, like you have no idea. So on one of the days I actually was asked to go to Newark Airport. Me and 3 others, we drove the minivan down to Newark Airport, which is about 3 hours from camp. Like it is a bit of a mission, and we had 2 buses coming in on this day. So we had, I think we left at around like 10 o'clock in the morning, and we went to Newark Airport. We waited for the first lot of people to arrive, and then 2 of the counsellors actually went back on the bus with all the new staff. And then me and one other counsellor, we actually stayed at Newark to pick everyone up for the later bus. So it was one of the longest days of the summer, because we were just waiting around at Newark Airport all day, and then we didn't end up getting back to camp until, I want to say like 9:30 maybe. But it was such a nice day. It was nice to get to the airport and be the face that everyone coming to Tyler Hill for the first time or the second time or however many times, we were the face that they saw first. And it was nice just to sit and get to know everyone, and then get on the bus all the way to camp. And then that's when it all started to feel real, that camp was starting and orientation was in like the next day. It was so much fun. Okay, and then orientation, you guys know how much I love orientation. I'm going to film a separate orientation video to go into things in a bit more detail, like what we actually did, how the schedule looked, what we got up to. I know I did one of these last year, but I did it quite late. I think it's nice to know about orientation early, because I know that's what everyone sort of thinks of first when they think of camp. So yeah, orientation was a lot shorter this year than it was last year. I think it was around 8 days, and I think we're doing a 7-day orientation next year. And yeah, we just do lots of get to know you activities, icebreakers, different kind of games, like really fun evening activities. And yeah, orientation is just that really nice time to get to know all of your co-counsellors, everyone you're going to be spending the summer with, and making those relationships and connections, and yeah, just getting yourself set up for the summer. And orientation is just that good time to help give you the tools and information you need to start your time as a summer camp counsellor. Even now, like me going back to camp, I learn so much every year from different people that I'm around. So yeah, orientation is so fun, and I just love it every year. And then towards the end of orientation, we obviously found out our divisions and who was going to be working with what divisions and stuff. And so this year, in case you don't know, I completely swapped up my role. For the last 3 years at camp, I've worked as a part of the gymnastics program as a specialist my first 2 summers, and then as the director last year. Now this year I literally was like completely in a different role. I was actually the division leader for the senior girls. So my girls that I started with back when they were freshmen, I was the division leader for them, which is kind of like, I'm just the one that looks after that entire division. And I had the most amazing group leader, Gabby. I'm going to insert a photo of Gabby here. She was genuinely my rock throughout the whole summer. Like, we worked together. So a lot of divisions will have a division leader, and then some might have a division head, and then some might have a group leader. Every division will have a division leader, and there'll kind of be some divisions that need more support will have more or less, kind of just based on how many kids you have in that division. So yeah, I was in this role, and don't get me wrong, I was completely terrified going to camp this year just because of how different this role was going to be and how much more of a how much more responsibility I was going to have this summer. But when I tell you, this was the most rewarding job that I've ever done, and it was my favourite job I've ever done at camp by far. I loved it so much. I loved that I was around the kids so much more. I communicated with the parents, I helped look after all the counsellors, and just to make sure that everything was running smoothly. But it was honestly so much fun, and I'm already so excited to go back and do it again next year. I can't wait. So yeah, when there's about 3 or 4 days left of orientation, you'll find out your division, and yeah, that's when prep really starts, and you just start to get to know each other within your division. Because there's some people that maybe you end up being in a division with that you haven't actually spent much time with during orientation itself. So we have a lot of divisional time, like doing get to know you things, and we spent a lot of time getting to know the kids as well, because we had quite a few new staff. It was kind of a good split. We had pretty even split between returning staff and new staff in the division. And then yeah, the bags start to arrive, then we start unpacking, and then the kids get here. Like, orientation flew, like genuinely. The kids were coming before we knew it, and I was like, oh my god, I do not feel ready for this. And then the kids arrived, and it was so special. Like, honestly, when the buses roll in, it is the most exciting feeling ever. And yeah, we jumped straight into activity. The kids arrive on a Saturday, and normal activities start on the Sunday, which I think is really nice, that they just get straight into camp mindset straight away. Yeah, we just got stuck into normal activities, going and doing all the normal sports and stuff. And obviously for me this time, I was more of a general counsellor, so I was with the kids all day every day, going to all these different activities, and I loved it. Like, genuinely loved doing this role so much. Yeah, so like I said, my girls were seniors this year, so they were 12 turning 13, and I had 28 of them, 28 girls. We had 2 bunks this year, which was quite a shock to everyone that we were put in the bunks that we were put in, but it was such a nice surprise. And when we got into the mindset of like, we're all under one roof, we all shared one big space in 2 separate bunks. All of our bunks are like big buildings with 2 bunks that just join with a porch and a bathroom along the back. But yeah, I was like, girls were literally all under the same roof. There was, like I say, 28 kids in there and 8 counsellors. So you can imagine it's a little bit crazy, but it genuinely is just like a giant sleepover, and it's so much fun. I'm going to talk through a few of like my favourite memories from camp this summer, because I looked through my photos, and one evening activity we did this year was called Paper Bag Dramatics, and I think I posted something about this on my story the other day, and I love this game so much. So basically, the girls are split into small groups, and they're all given like a paper bag or a trash bag, and it's just got the most random objects in it you can ever imagine, like the craziest things in there, and they don't know what's in there until we start the game. And then they have like 10-15 minutes, they go through the bag, they see what they've got, and they have to come up with a skit using those objects and then perform it in front of everyone. And we had honestly, it was one of the funniest nights of my entire summer. And we went down to the gymnastics pavilion, and we just did it all down there. It was just the girls, and everyone was just in a really fun, like crazy, silly mood. And honestly, it was one of the highlights of my summer. And we did so many good evening activities that just were really like fun and wholesome, and I feel like really brought all of us together, like doing things like musical bingo, which we did before. I love playing games like Panic. We did a cocktail masterclass one day where we went and got loads of juice, and we had like apple cider and like candies and different things, and the girls had to come up with like their own cocktails and then present them to us. And it was honestly just such a fun summer, and the fact that I played such a role in planning different things and putting on different events and activities with the help of Gabby and all of my amazing counsellors. Honestly, the team that we had was phenomenal. Like, I'm so grateful for every single one of you. If any of you are watching, I love you so much. And yeah, we did our own mini colour war, which was so much fun. If you don't know what colour war is, it's like a long 5-day tournament that we do at the end of the summer, but a lot of divisions started to do like divisional colour wars that maybe lasted 2 or 3 days, just to make something a little bit more exciting. And we still used our normal schedule, so we just, if we had basketball period 1, we just turned it into colour war basketball. And we actually taught the girls how to play bench ball this year, which if you're from the UK, you will know bench ball, no doubt. But yeah, the girls loved bench ball, and it started to go through other divisions as well, and it was so much fun. But yeah, it was just so nice to do different things with the girls and to have this control over, like, it was our schedule, we could kind of do what we wanted with it. And yeah, I literally could get emotional thinking about how much fun I had this summer and how excited I am to go back. It's actually wild. And it's so funny because in the moment when you're at camp, like, camp is so overwhelming and it is a very hard environment to be in. Like, don't get me wrong, like I always say, it's the hardest job that you'll ever love. It's tough, and in the moment you're kind of like, you get to a point where you're like, oh, like I'm so excited to go home and to see family and friends or to start traveling, and you're almost like ready to leave and have a little break from that camp environment. And then as soon as you get home and you're into normal lifestyle again and like a normal mindset, you're like, oh, like I miss camp so much. So I'm definitely in that mindset now where I'm like, I'm ready to start prepping for summer camp 2024, which is wild because I know so many people are signing up and getting things ready for all of that. So that's just very exciting. So yeah, big tip, literally my biggest tip for anyone going to camp, whether it's next year or in years to come, do not waste a single second at camp, because you will be lying in bed weeks or months after camp is finished and you're just like, oh, like I'd do anything to be back in the bunk with everyone right now. Like, all I'm seeing over at Instagram at the moment is so many people posting like camp throwback pictures, like, oh my god, like I miss camp so much. And it just makes it feel so rewarding, and just what you do is an amazing job throughout the summer, and then getting excited for years to come is also crazy. I'm just trying to have a look through my phone and just look at different photos, but honestly, like, I couldn't even talk about every single thing we did at camp because there's so many. But obviously things like Girls and Boys Invitational, Las Bowl, which I'm going to do a whole separate video on, like different themed events at Tyler Hill, just so you can have a bit of an insight on what kind of events some camps might offer. Like, I just kind of wanted this video to be an overview of how amazing of a summer I did have at camp, and then all my little smaller, more in-depth detailed videos are going to come. So yeah, I basically just had the best time. There was a point where I was like very overwhelmed at camp, don't get me wrong, and I think transitioning into a completely new role, my first few weeks, so me and Gabby, who was my group leader who I mentioned earlier, we were both doing this role for the first time. Obviously last year I was a specialist counsellor, lived in the bunk, had never done any sort of head staff role, and Gabby was just a general counsellor. And for us to go into these roles where we were running and leading an entire division of kids and counsellors was so scary and a little bit like, oh my god, what am I doing? But the fact that we were both in this together was such a nice thing, because we work so well together and we bounce off each other in such an amazing way that it made everything feel so easy, and there was no pressure with anything. She helped me out so much, and I like to hope that I helped her out with so much as well. So yeah, it was definitely a point where we were both like, we both sat on the porch and we're like, what are we doing? Like, I actually don't know if what I'm doing is right, like if this is how it's supposed to be done. But I kind of love, we both said, I love when I have to figure things out for myself. I love kind of being thrown in the deep end, and I thrive in that environment. And it was nice to be given that much freedom with this job role. It's just kind of like, this is your division, like do what you want with it, make it what you know you can make it, and just have so much fun. And that's why I think this summer went so fast, because by the time me and Gabby both felt really settled in our roles, we were like, oh, like now I could do camp from the start. Like obviously everything at camp is an adjustment, and you really do have to think on your feet and act in a way that you've just got to be prepared for anything to change at any time. And I love that. Like I say, I love that environment. I love not knowing what's going to happen, or that 2 days, I know that 2 days are never going to be the same at camp. But it was a hard job, don't get me wrong, but I loved it, and it was so rewarding. And getting to speak to all the parents all the time and getting to spend so much more time with the girls was why I wanted to go back to camp this year. I definitely didn't have as much of a social experience as I have in previous years. I think more just because I was at camp for a different reason this year. I was at camp to do this job role and to see my girls, and obviously I met some amazing people like I do every year, but my job role also meant that I couldn't leave camp at the same time that everyone else could. I missed the buses, I had to get cars if I was going out somewhere. So, but I loved that. I genuinely loved taking a back seat from going out and doing different things. I really enjoyed sometimes not going out until half 10, 11 o'clock at night and only getting to spend an hour with people out, but still getting to spend that hour and having the best time, and then coming back to camp when everyone else did. So yeah, it really just reminded me, I think, of the reason that I go to camp. And like I said, the social side is definitely a huge part of it, and meeting the people that you do is huge, and having your time off and doing things with everyone is definitely a big factor, and that's a reason why a lot of people do go to camp, but it's not the main reason, and it definitely shouldn't be the main reason you're going. And when you get into the headspace that you know how much of an impact you're going to have on these kids is so special, and knowing that you're going to spend the entire summer with them and help them grow and achieve so many things, but they're also going to help you do that as well. I feel like this has gone off on a complete tangent, and now I'm just being like really emotional about camp, which is fine. But yeah, in a nutshell, I had an amazing time. It taught me so much about myself doing this job role. It got me so much closer to all of my girls and to all of the girls that I worked with, and to just staff in general at camp. Oh, I just can't wait to go back. I could honestly cry. I really could. I'm going to wrap this up here because I feel like I'm just going on and on and on. And I'm going to film a few of the videos like now, just because I've got a whole day of like content creating to do. And yeah, if you have any questions at all, if you have any videos you want to see, whether it's camp related, travel related, Australia related, please just leave them down below or drop me a message. And I've got lots of time on my hands to make some videos, so that's what I really want to do. So yeah, I'm going to make some specific videos, like I said, some Q&As, some videos on time off, on orientation, on like themed events, different things. So yeah, get excited because the camp content is coming and the camp season is starting. I can't believe it's going to be summer 2024 before we know it. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.